Hey, what's up, guys? Jesse Soto, BRPS Title, and today I am with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Cary Russell, who happens to be one of the owners of BRPS Title. What's going on, Cary?
How's everybody doing today? Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So, Cary is a massive bourbon guy, and if any of you know who I am, I also enjoy the bourbon here and there. But Cary has brought us something amazing. What'd you bring?
Well, today we want to explore Mash Bill 1 of Buffalo Trace. And one of my favorites, everybody loves them, are the E.H. Taylor tubes. So today we're going to open an E.H. Taylor single barrel.
Oof.
Fresh crack here. I'll let Jesse do the honors.
Oh, man.
And I'll tell you a little bit about the differences in Mash Bill 1 and Mash Bill 2. Buffalo Trace, everybody loves Buffalo Trace, probably the hottest bourbon maker in the market. Well known for Blanton's, Pappy Van Winkle, and everything in between. But primarily, Buffalo Trace uses two recipes, which they call mash bills. Mash Bill 1, which we're drinking today, is lower rye, which a lot of people report gives them more corn, more sweetness, a little mellower flavor. And then Mash Bill 2 is the higher rye. Mash Bill 1 also has, you've got E.H. Taylor, you've got Stag and Stag Junior that everybody loves, Eagle Rare, those are some of the top contenders there. On the other side of the coin, with Mash Bill number 2, you've got the four heavy hitters, Blanton's, my favorite Elmer T. Lee, Hancock Presidential Reserve, and Rock Hill Farms. A little higher rye, seems that the ladies like that with the spice, a little more refined palate, they can pick that up. For guys like me, I'm an ice guy. You drink your bourbon however you like it. Here's our fresh crack on a little bourbon, and we're gonna talk a little title today.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's try this bad boy. Damn, that's good.
Never misses.
Wow, that's stupidly good. And the proof's right at 100.
Bottled in bond, 100 proof. Big proponent of drink bourbon however you like it.
Yeah.
If you like ice in it, drink ice. I'm an ice guy. Jesse's a grown man. He drinks it neat.
Neat.
You want to put cola, Mountain Dew, proof it down with a little water, whatever you want. As long as you're drinking it and enjoying it, I say have some fun.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So, Cary, you know, it's funny because I talk to a lot of realtors. You know, a lot of realtors ask me, okay, what does title do? Most people don't know what title does. You know, they mainly think, okay, we send in the contract, you guys do whatever you do, and we'll see you at closing. You've been in title for a minute, right? How long have you been in title?
Almost 2 decades now.
Jesus.
Been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of grays here.
From said realtors. No,
Yes.
just kidding.
Never. Never. We love you.
But you know, what made you think or even want to start your own title company?
You know, that's a great question, Jesse. For me, my background is I've run a few title companies for some other people. Taken one national, BRPS. We actually took BRPS national in 36 states, doing 4,000 purchases across the country in a year from one location here in Houston, Texas. So that was a fun and adventure, and I'm sure we'll get into the details and nuts and bolts of how you do that. We won't bore you with that right now. But the biggest thing for me and my business partner, Jason Clam, side note, it's his fault I'm in title. We met playing baseball back at Lamar University in good old Beaumont, Texas.
Go Cardinals.
Oh yeah. Harvard on the Natchez, Lamar University, don't forget that. But for us, what it came down to is I didn't like getting the call in the fourth quarter and it says stock's down 32%, you've got to let go 32% of the staff. And I go, well, look, you know, let's look at our Texas P&L here. We're a different country, a different environment in Texas, especially Houston. We've got Williams Tower right behind us. Oil and gas is bumping, medical. We've got an influx of reload coming here. Tech's starting to pop off because prices in other areas of the state are going up. We are very attracted to come down here on the coast. But when you get that call, we'd always say, look, what do you want me to do? You're gonna ask me to fire a third of my staff, and then guess what? They're gonna call you in February and go, well, spring market's coming, spring break. How are you gonna service all your clients? You want me to call somebody that I laid off in Q4 and beg them to come back? Doesn't work, ruins the culture. So we kind of created something a little different at BRPS. We take care of our people. We're very big on managing your energy versus your time. A lot of different philosophies, but that was the main thing for me, is that I wanted to continue that family environment where you felt safe, because as an operator and a manager, I always believed Starbucks and Southwest were good examples for me.
Yeah.
If you focus on taking care of your employees, they will take care of the clients.
Yeah.
And so my number one job, and Jason as well, like I said, my business partner, is we tell everyone, my job is to Jesse and to everyone at BRPS Title, and that's what I like to do is I'm going to facilitate you, help you bring it in, and we're going to try to get it done. So real long rambling there, but I did it because I didn't like the feeling I had when I was forced to do things that I knew weren't right from an ethical standpoint, and that not ethical, but you know what I mean on that. So yeah, we got it. We've had control of it. Bought it January 30th, 2020, right before this little pandemic thing happened. You know,
Small
COVID.
one.
Yeah,
Small
not a big deal.
Yeah.
We survived. We did well. We're growing and thriving now, and very, very excited to see what 23 holds, and talk a little bit about what we're going to see in 2023.
Yeah, I like that. You know, it's crazy because, you know, I'm from several big box title companies, and coming from a big company that deals with the red tape, you know, the stock prices, the upper management, that there's several levels. It's crazy how different it is being at a boutique, I guess, as you will, even though, you know, we're used to closing quite a few deals every single month. You know, I really, and I've told you this before, but I don't know why folks would close at a bigger title company, brand name, because I mean, here it's amazing. It's
You know,
phenomenal.
I think that typically people will gravitate towards the larger shops. I've worked for one of the big four underwriters here for a while, cut my teeth there, learned some good things. But it seems that everyone gravitates because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
They think, oh, well, you know, that's the name brand, I'll go with it. But I think that the consumer, with the speed of information that we have at our hands, with our phones, with the internet, with 24-hour news cycle, is the consumers are more educated than they've ever been.
Yeah.
And now they can start to understand that we're in a commodity regulated industry. Our title premium is going to be the same anywhere you go in Texas. If it's not, you better call us because they're in trouble. But we learned, what can we do? Our job is to make our clients look like rock stars, get great referrals, and get you paid on time. If we do that, you're going to love the service you're receiving, and you're going to want to come back.
I love that. And keep it local, baby.
Yeah, keep it local.
Yeah, I like that. So that being said, Cary, what have you been seeing in the industry, especially not only from a title level, but I mean, kind of a CEO kind of level?
You know, good question. Everybody's seen it since about March of last year. There's been indicators towards recessionary type environment. We're all very rate sensitive in this industry. Scares us a lot when we see the rates going up. But what we're seeing is that an anomaly that's never taken place in my lifetime, and I don't know if ever, is typically when the Fed raises rates, the yields and the bonds follow. And right now, the 10-year and the 2-year are not following that anymore. So even today's January 11th, Fed's kicking the rates up, bonds went down, 30-year mortgage fix was 6.3 this morning, you know? And I probably would have said in Q4, no way we see 5%.
Yeah.
I think we could see in the high fives, 5.75 by Q3, Q4.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so it's a sensitive environment, but I always tell everyone that Texas, again, if we broke off, we could be our own country. We'd be the 4th largest country in the world, I think, based on GDP that Texas has alone. Last stats I read. You've got the fact of we're kind of insulated when you hear things. You know, I love watching the markets in the morning, big Squawk Box fan, but I would like to tell everybody here in Texas and everybody that's watching this locally, do not get caught up in that hype. We always, if you remember back to 2008, guys, you know, sand states were getting crushed. Everything on the West Coast, everything was dying. Foreclosure rates, you had, you know, massive communities being built and builders just walking away. We really didn't feel that in Texas like everyone else did. If you had 70% foreclosure rates, we were ticking in the 15 to 20. So we've always been a little insulated. We're just resilient here in Texas. So I'm confident that our benchmark right now is spring break. Let's get to spring break. Let's watch what those orders are doing. You've got multiple factors taking place. One of the ones that we're really interested in right now is commercial rental rates. And so right now, what's happening is that a person goes to buy a home, and let's say if you were to get a mortgage, and they're going to make you roll taxes, insurance, and probably mortgage insurance in there, because who can put 20% down with our savings rates that are taking place right now? But what you're going to see is, let's say person X goes to a house today, and all in that mortgage is $4,000. Well, they can go and they can still get an apartment in Houston for $3,250. Okay, so you're not upside down. The rental rates are creeping up now because of what's taking place. And when rental rates, we feel, and I think it'll be advantageous to all of us in the Houston real estate market, Texas real estate market, would be when those rates on the rents creep up and you kind of start to normalize and get an equilibrium with the mortgage rates as they come down, that's when the buyers are going to come back. And I don't think, another thing that we've come on is everyone sellers are going to have to reduce prices. They're going to have to reduce prices.
Not a lot.
Look, we all know it in this industry. I say from Thanksgiving to spring break, it's slow. That's when you put in your work, you do all your touches with everyone, you build all your contacts. Once it gets ripping and running, we all know spring break to when school gets back in session, that's when it goes. And that's what we're really looking for is mid-March, what's the Fed do with the rates? Again, if the bonds and the yields keep doing what they're doing, it may not matter. So the market's kind of telling the Fed right now, you can raise what you want, you can do what you want, but we're going to stay here on our interest rates.
Yeah, I like that. And it was, it was weird, especially this year, I guess last year, 2022, at the end of the year, because usually you see that last jump, that last push in December for folks trying to close it before the end of the year so they could keep the tax. Mm-hmm. But with the homestead, them being able to, any buyers being able to go ahead and homestead the property at any time of the year, we didn't really see that. So that was a different December than I'm used to.
Very, very different. That and you usually see a little push on the commercial side, people trying to close their books. When does their fiscal year end? Is it December 31st or March 31st? Usually that's when you'll end your fiscal year. My theory on that is that they were able to write off a lot of losses that everyone incurred, and so it wasn't as important to dump the assets in the fourth quarter as they used to. A lot of we didn't see as much 1031 exchange action, no. I think for the same reason. But I think there's a lot of pent-up market volatility in a good way that's going to come our way Q2, Q3.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. I know, again, you've been here for 2 decades in title. What do you look for when in hiring process? Because I know, there's so many people that are wanting to start not only a business, but possibly something in real estate. Mm-hmm. So you starting your own thing, you heading it up, you and Jason, what do you look for, like when you're hiring, especially? Either hiring, the people who you want to work with, talent, stuff like that.
If we're talking about bringing someone into the BRPS family, personality and culture. Can you play well in the sandbox? Do you have the right mindset? Because that's what we look for. We can teach you title, you can go through it. Experience is good in some cases, in some cases it's not. You got some bad habits from back in the day. But we really look for, I ask the questions and I like to dig into, what do you do for fun? What are those things? You can read a lot about people from there. It's a bit like a poker game though, because in an interview, somebody will say just about anything when they're hurting hard enough to get in there, but you've got to be able to read through those lines and see what it is. But again, I would look for personality, response to the questions, asking the questions, and are you answering truthfully? I'm not even as concerned about the question, but can you let that guard down and show us who you really are? And then most importantly, are you going to be a fit with the team we have at the location that you're going in as well? Because that's what's key to us, is that our philosophy is everyone's rowing in the same direction. We've got a different pay structure, we've got different comp, we've got different things to remain competitive, one, because we are a smaller boutique office, but number two is when everybody's pushing to the same goal, we'll accomplish a whole lot more.
I like that. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, born and raised in Texas, mm-hmm. Houston boy, like you're West Texas, right?
I'm Beaumont, Texas.
That's right. That's right.
East Texas, little Cajun, little Italian. That's all that's in Beaumont, I think.
That's hilarious. What made you want to stay in Houston?
I'll make this a quick story. I was in grad school, going to be a psychiatrist of all things. That's still what I want to do, and some days I think that's what I am, running a company. But Jason Clam, my best friend, who I knew from baseball, he He had gotten married, and his wife's father-in-law owned Beaumont Title Company. Beaumont Title Company got bought by First American. Jason was a little slightly ahead of me in school, and so he got out and he started working there. And when Beaumont Title got bought out by First American, Jason started to move up the ranks quickly. They saw the talent, they started to teach the guy what to do, and he was successful. I'll never forget, so I'm in grad school, it's my first semester. I used to like to play a lot of poker. 45 minutes from the casinos in Lake Charles, so I would head out, schedule my classes Thursday at noon, get on the road, go play cards for 3 or 4 days, come back Sunday. It was a good little gig, single, no kids, why not? Cell phone rings, flip cell phone before a lot of you kids, there was no texting. It's Jason. He says, what are you doing? I said, you know what I'm doing, I'm I-10 East, what's going on? He said, I need you to put on a suit and get to Houston. And I was young and naive. I didn't even ask why. I just said, okay. So I went, I threw on the only suit I had. I got in the car. First, I printed out the MapQuest directions. That'll tell you how long ago this was. Got in my stick shift single cab Chevy that I bought in college on my own. Very proud of that old thing. Drove to Houston, Texas, and met Charles Grimminger at First American Title. And he told me didn't know what title insurance was at all. I was like, okay, you sell tile? I thought we were gonna tile bathrooms or something. I didn't know what was going on. So he tells me, we've got this management program. We've got these 2 kids from Baylor, they're rock stars. We recruited them, and I'm like, what do you want with this guy from Beaumont, Texas, Lamar, And I said, Jason's vouched for you, we've got an opportunity. Interview went well. And my naivety, I lived in Beaumont, Texas, coming to Houston my whole life, Astros, Astro World, Rockets, everything, Comets three-peat, we're on, everything. So it's, First American at that time was on I-10 in Derry, Ashford, and I had a friend that lived in Clear Lake. He had just got married, lived in Clear Lake, so I called him on the way home, and I said, hey, I got a job in Houston, I start Monday, can I come live with you? That drive took 2 weeks until I found my own apartment.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Shadowbriar, Briar Forest, all back in there.
Dang.
But that is what got me into title, and I'm very thankful because we've seen the bigger shops compartmentalize a lot of our process, and I was able to get in, and they literally sent us day one to the title plant. Went to the First American title plant that was in the old Toys R Us building on Highway 6. Never forget that. Had a bar right next to it. Was convenient for all the college kids working there.
Sure.
And we started shooting copies. Then we learned to read an exam sheet, run title. Next thing I know, I'm whisked off to San Antonio where they're trying to make me a branch manager, and then learned it pretty much from A to Z, and now we're here.
I like it.
Just a couple years later, fast track.
Yeah, just a couple years later. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So where's your favorite place to eat in Houston?
Ooh, curveball. Favorite place to eat right now? Shout out to our good friends, Nobi's. Nobi's is a great spot, and if Nobi's is packed, go to Toasted Coconut, the other bar they own, great place. Martin and Sarah, good people. Tell them Cary sent you.
Oh man, that's big.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't act up whenever. Oh yeah, I'm buddies with Cary.
Get the dilly bread, by the way. Dilly bread at Nobi's, unreal.
So are you reading any books right now?
Right now, I just got given a book. Actually, Financial Synergies is downstairs. It's a local wealth management firm, and Michael Booker is, you should look him up if you don't know who he is. Really famous Houston, Texas golfer, has won a ton of USGA awards, never went professionally. I think he actually played at U of H with Freddie and them and won a national championship. But Mike wrote a book, and it's about the rhythm of golf and life, and I'm just now starting to read that.
Nice.
We'll get the title, and I'll put it in down below.
Yeah, we'll put it right down below.
Don't forget to click and like.
Yeah,
Does that work? Is that
yeah.
what the kids
Follow
say?
us. That's awesome. Well, Cary, what do you think the rest of the year is going to be like? You think it's going to be a great year, okay year, or a phenomenal year?
I think opportunity is the word for the year.
Oh, I like that.
Is in a down market, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up. And the people that put the work in now while it's slow, that keep picking themselves up, even when you get defeated, I think that those would be who survive. We had a lot of people enter the real estate market. It was easy, it was low hanging fruit with low rates and a lot of money being pumped in the economy. But now the cream will rise to the top. Form your relationships with your realtors, with your title, with your lenders, with your ancillary products, with your appraisers, with your insurance people, surveyors, all of them. Get in good now, because I firmly believe not only are we resilient in Texas, but America is as well. And I truly believe Q3 we're going to be off to the races. Hang in tight. It's going to be tough for a little bit, but third quarter we are going to kick off, and you'll be smiling.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And, you know, since I've been at BRPS, it's been phenomenal. It's like you were saying, the PTSD from other title places. You know, we don't have that here, which is pretty cool. And you know, there's a lot of things that we're doing that I don't see anywhere else. You know, we do have kind of a speakeasy here for set people. We do a lot of events, CE classes. You know, it's cool. So if you do have a contract, if you are looking for a title company, we would love to earn your business and show you why we are not only one of the best, but the best title company in Houston. And please check us out. We're 4400 Post Oak Parkway, 1550. Ask for Ashley Grimes at the front desk and she'll take care of you. And come say hi. But until then, man, cheers and
Cheers
to the next one.
to the next.
Salute. Cut.